From the Logomicus Studios, it is I, a New Yorker. And I'm here today to do something that some of you might think is a little ambitious, but for me, it's actually not ambitious. I'll explain why in a minute. I'm going to pronounce for you some town names in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Now, you may see some evidence behind me, for example, of New York-related stuff. That is because that is where I am from. However, I have also spent a great deal of time amongst the denizens of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So I think I'm actually going to do pretty well with this. There's a whole list of town names I'm going to pronounce for you. And maybe I'll have a thing or two to say about some of these places because I've been to just about all of them. But Massachusetts has some town names that you look at it and you would think, oh, it's this. And they'll look at you like, boy, you ain't from here. So how about this? Why don't we put a big old map of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and all its cities and towns on the screen? So we're going to go through the list. And I, a New Yorker, am going to pronounce these Massachusetts town names for you. So how we're going to do this, we're going to move from west to east. So we're going to start out in the Berkshires. So, all right, let's go. All right, so this one, it's going to be Row. Row. I don't think it's Row. I feel like I've heard somebody say Row in the past, but I would say it's Row. One thing I do know about this town is that it's really difficult to get to. There are no main roads passing through it. And hey, if I got it wrong, like practically nobody lives there. So hopefully I won't get too many angry comments. But hey, if you're from Row or Row, Massachusetts, wherever the hell you're from, just let me know. Let me know if I got it right. Cummington. Yep. Okay. So this is not a hard one to pronounce. It's just a funny name. I have been there. And I was a little disappointed, to be honest with you. It's like the name is false advertising. So this one's Agawam. So Agawam, if you like amusement park traffic jams, then Agawam's the place to be. So this one up north, that is Bernardston, not Bernardston. Bernardston. That's another one of those towns. You got to go pretty far out of your way. But hey, it's right on the Vermont border, so you can always, run up to Brattleboro and maybe to one of the mountains, go skiing. I don't know. So this one is called Petersham. So this town, it's one of those where it borders the Quabbin Reservoir, and the Quabbin Reservoir flooded out a bunch of other towns that used to exist, and its territory was divided up, which is why this town is so large on a map. But there aren't a whole lot of people there. That I do remember. So right to the north of Petersham is Athol. And yep, I believe the Mohawk Trail goes through Athol, Route 2. Pretty unremarkable. It's a city. It's a place. It exists. It's there. Yeah. So this one is Winchendon. It's not Winchendon. It's Winchendon. And the only reason I ever was in Winchendon, I was driving through to get to Keene, New Hampshire. So that might be one of the only reasons anyone's ever in Winchendon, unless you're from there. But yeah, you drive through it to get to Keene, New Hampshire. So, well, if you're coming from like the Boston area, you'll probably slide up that way. So yeah, there you go, Winchendon. So this one is Barry. It's basically smack in the middle of the state. Pretty easy to miss. Not much in terms of highways or roads going through it. But people live there. People do. People do live there. Hey, the housing there is probably cheaper than if you get inside of 495. But that's just an educated guess. Okay, I actually just looked because I was curious. Some of these house prices aren't terrible. I mean, the inventory isn't amazing. Oh yeah, that one, that's kind of expensive for what that is. Oh, that one's really nice. Oh, okay. $495. That's really nice. Okay. Yeah, so it's not as bad as it's going to be in the Boston area, but not a lot of inventory if you're looking out there. This one is Leicester. It's not Leicester or Leicester. I don't know if I've heard Leicester, but it's Leicester. So it's Leicester. Oh, look at that. It's Worcester. It's Worcester. Worcester. If you pronounce ya as. If you pronounce ya as, it's Worcester. But if you don't, if you're from Mass, it's Worcester. And I have spent plenty of time in Worcester. And it's not Worcester. It is not Worcester. I have heard people say Worcester. No. Do you see an H in there? Do you see an? I don't see an H because there is no H. It's Worcester. Okay, so this one, before I became acquainted with Massachusetts, I didn't know this one either, but it's Leominster. It's not Leominster. If I were a kid looking at a map, I would say Leominster. But no, it's Leominster. There's a mall there, if I recall. Some stores. Highway. Yeah. Ooh, Pepperell. Right on the border with New Hampshire. I believe there are some like horse stables there. Not a bad town. Pepperell. This one is Tingsboro. You might look at this and say, well, that's a lot of letters. But it's Tingsboro. Sometimes you see the names of these boroughs in Massachusetts spelled without the UGH at the end. I think the formal names of the towns, whenever you may see that, does include the UGH, so we included that here. But it's Tingsboro. You're welcome. And then this one is Dracut. It is not Dracut or Dracut. It's Dracut. And a little further up, 495, if you're heading towards Hampton Beach in New Hampshire, you're going to go through Haverhill. Now, a common mistake might be if people say Haverhill. Oh, let's go to Haverhill. No, it's Haverhill. Haverhill. And one of my personal favorites, one of the town city names that I've heard butchered the most in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This is Methuen. I remember when I was a kid, we were driving through, going on vacation. I would call it Methuen. No, it's Methuen. It's Methuen. There's a big gas station there right on the border with New Hampshire. A lot of people get their lotto tickets there. Been there. It's something to do. So you go all the way out onto Cape Ann and you run into Gloucester. This is another one like with Leicester and Worcester. It's not Gloucester or Gloucester. I actually have heard somebody say Gloucester. And it's infuriating. It's absolutely infuriating. So if you're from Gloucester and you hear Gloucester, you have my permission to respond appropriately. Please don't use this against me later. So right next to Lynn, the city of sin, you've got a tiny little town sticking out into the Atlantic Ocean called Nahant. It's not Nahant. It's Nahant. And it's very small. The widest the town gets is maybe like a quarter of a mile. It's very small. Another real good one. This is Peabody. I have heard people say Peabody. Wasn't Professor Peabody a cartoon or something? Well, it's not named after him, so it's Peabody. Ooh, Tewksbury. Hello, Tewksbury. A very common mispronunciation of this would be Tewksbury. It's Tewksbury. Tewksbury. Trust me on this one. Tewksbury. And right next to Tewksbury is Billerica. It's not Bill Erica. It's Billerica. The E is pretty silent, I would say. Billerica. Just go with that. It's Billerica. And then getting in closer to Boston, you got Woburn. It is not Woburn. Right there off of 128, sitting there in traffic hell. It's Woburn. So the O is kind of like another U. I don't understand it either, but that's how it's said. It's Woburn. And then staying on 128 in traffic hell, you make your way down to Waltham. It's not Waltham. It's Waltham. Waltham. There's some great brunch places in Waltham because you got colleges there, and I assume that's why they're there. Some great brunch places in Waltham. I'm not going to name check anybody here, but do your research and you will find what you're looking for. And then moving a little further out, now we're going out a little west on the Mass Pike, and you get to Framingham. Not Framingham. It's Framingham. The mall is in Natick next door. This is Framingham. And then back on 128 in traffic hell, you get to Needham. So it's interesting because a little bit to the north, you've got Waltham, and then you got Needham. And next to it is Dedham. But out in the western part of the state, you got Petersham. So it's not Needham. Nobody needs ham. You want ham. You don't need ham. It's Needham. So this one might trip up non-Mass residents. This is Quincy. It is not Quincy, like the Jack Klugman character in the 70s. It's not Quincy. It's Quincy. The C is pronounced like a Z. Why? I could not tell you. No one has ever explained that to me. But it's Quincy. Trust me. And then you go a little bit over as you're heading down Route 3, going to the Cape, getting ready for that traffic hell. You may pass through Hingham. Hingham, nice place. Very nice place, actually. I do like Hingham. And then a little further out on the coast there, in Plymouth County, you will run into Scituate. It's not Scituate or Scituate or Situate. It's Scituate. Scituate. And now heading down, getting towards the Cape. Not quite on the Cape yet. Right outside in New Bedford and Fairhaven, you've got the town of Acushnet. Acushnet. And next to that, you've got Mattapoisett. Mattapoisett on the highway. People going from the direction of Providence. I think on 195 there, heading towards the Cape. You're going to go through Mattapoisett. And finally, we get you onto the Cape. Most of the town names of the Cape, I think, are easy enough to get. This one is Barnstable. So the name of the county that Cape Cod is, all of Cape Cod is one county. It's Barnstable County. And that is the town of Barnstable. That's where you'll find Hyannis as you're sitting on Route 6 in the summer, not moving. You may be stuck in Barnstable, the town of. Definitely Barnstable County. But that's where you are. It's Barnstable, not Barnstable. That sounds kind of stupid. It's Barnstable. So I hope this has helped you. I mean, if you're from Massachusetts, you can probably verify that most of what I have said is correct. And if so, please let me know how good of a job I did for being a non-local, kind of an honorary Massachusetts resident. But yeah, that's it. I'm from New York and I pronounce Massachusetts town names here at Legomicus Media. Like and subscribe. Follow us on social media. We'll see you soon.